Little League President Mindy Davis opened this shed to show us what was inside this morning. A sleeping bag, clothing, lighters, food wrappers, and the last item, so hazardous, police had to be called to remove it. Police tell us Davis Trong killed his daughter and his significant other at one of these townhomes here on Pebblebrook Drive. Now, neighbors tell us that yesterday they woke up to blood-stained driveways and doorsteps. It's a day of fun and Delaware tradition. You said it is nothing new. This has been going on for more than a century, and as you can see, it's 2024 and it is still going strong here today. Maryland State Police went around and told some of them to lock their doors and to stay inside as they are on an active manhunt. However, Maryland State Police did tell us that there is no imminent threat right now to the public. There are dogs on the ground, the canine unit on the ground, as well as a drone that they have put into the sky looking for this suspect. We've been talking to our snowplow friend. He's actually pulling up right now. He's been going around through all the neighborhoods this morning, trying to clear up as much of the roads as he can. But again, you can see it's just collecting in minutes. Look at all that snow there. Whether you live in Millsboro or just passing through or flying high above, you can take a deep breath in and smell that horrible stench people are complaining about. Charging documents say multiple videos of the assault show several people assaulting and humiliating the victim. Those videos also led police to more information about how the incident began in the first place. Now, I sat inside of this church during the funeral, and I walked away with a better understanding of Barry's compassionate dedication to everyone he knew and didn't know. A team of archaeologists and volunteers are getting down and dirty to try to uncover history in Lewis. He has seen groups of 400 to 500 blue catfish in this area of the Wicomico River in one single night, and worries that the livelihood he and others have built is in danger. This is the Mahjong Open Play here at the Frankfort Public Library. It's one of the many activities offered here that brings the community together. But it's also one of the many programs at risk of getting cut if the library's financial shortfall does not improve. Just to give you a little scope and measurement of what this flooding looks like, we've got a speed limit sign here, and I can actually see where the water was even higher. I got Nicole back here. I see her making a snowball herself, so I think we're about to have a snowball fight. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to you so I can go ahead and handle business. But for now, live in Cambridge, Kirstyn Clark, WVOC News, Delmarva's news leader.
You take care of that, Kirstyn. We look forward to your report. Thank you.
A neighbor tells us this is Nest camera video of his front door around 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. Police confirm the man covered in blood is Davis Trong. They believe he shot and killed his 3-year-old daughter and 31-year-old significant other. Neighbors say Trong lived at this blood-splattered home. Ruben Roca recalls hearing a bang on his door as well around 4:30 a.m. The bloodstains on his front step tell a similar story.
By the time I got to the door, nobody was there, but I heard somebody screaming something like, open the door or something like that. And then I heard a little commotion, I think, in the back.
The video then shows police arriving to the Brookstone Trace community a short while later. Police tell us other people asleep inside the home let officers in when they knocked on the front door. Lorraine Hanser says she saw the police cars outside and was shocked to learn what happened.
For something like that to happen with a mother and a child, that is sad and scary, you know.
And despite not knowing the family well, Roca says the news is still hard to process.
We are really hurt because of the little one used to play with my dog, and she will go to the deck in the back and scream at her, and so then we will wave each other, you know, with them. It seemed to be very nice people. Things change, you know, so drastically from a moment to the other.
Trong is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and possession of a deadly weapon. Lou Ann Riley and 7 of her grandchildren got off a school bus this morning, ready to pick up history right where it left off. They entered the building dressed in their late 19th and early 20th century attire and were immediately whisked back in time.
It has more than I expected. To be the first people to be here after 80-some years, it feels pretty special to be here. That special feeling had a lot to do with Margaret Mitchell's efforts to bring the Godwin School back to life. Her mother was a student there from 1911 to 1920.
Years ago, when we used to pass this school, my mother would say, "That's my school there." And now, and it's our school.
In the 1980s, Mitchell and her siblings came up with the idea to transform the old building. Over a span of about 12 years, it was painted, redecorated, and refurnished with desks, books, toys, a chalkboard, and other little pieces of history. And today, those tools were finally put to use.
We're not going to be using any computers, no pens, no colored chalk. They'll be using slate and chalk today.
The students made the most of their experience and even heard stories from their great-grandmother who attended a similar school back in the day.
And the school was in walking distance.
But it was the face hanging on the wall in the building's front room that had the biggest smile of all.
My mother would be elated. And a lady of very few words, but very appreciative. And so, yeah, it was all for her.
And for many generations to come. In Millsboro, Kirstyn Clark, WBOC News, Delmarva's news leader. We sat down today with Charlotte King and her daughter-in-law to take a listen to that racial slur stirring up controversy in Lewis.
Let me headquarters locate that truck.
An anonymous member of the fire department. As a black woman who may one day have to call on the fire department, King says the incident is troubling.
I would say, send somebody but not him. And they would say, why not him? And I'd say, because he's a racist. And I won't feel secure knowing that somebody who is bold enough to make that statement is coming to my house.
The department has not identified which member used the slur. We reached out to the city of Lewis yesterday for comment. We received this statement from Mayor Andrew Williams after our report aired at 6 p.m. Williams says despite the fire department being an independent organization from the city, quote, we acknowledge the severity of the incident and will support the Lewis Fire Department to address this issue by taking the necessary steps to prevent future incidents. King says those steps should include some form of implicit bias training and education.
One has to evaluate, have we moved this at all? And if not, then the question is, does it remain with the fire department? He has to be evaluated in terms of, is he safe for the community, the whole community?
A community confronting hate speech. New details are coming out today about a shooting Friday night outside a high school football game in Dover. Dover police confirmed to WBOC that one shot was fired and 2 suspects were arrested after a fight broke out at the game. Those suspects have now been identified. In Berlin, Maryland, it felt a lot like Berlin, Germany yesterday as the town hosted its annual Oktoberfest celebration. Many of us, I know I do, consider our pets our family. Now, New York City is considering a law that would make it legal for any pet owner to use their paid sick time to care for their furry friend. Even though Speaker Mike Johnson has no one challenging him, a Maryland congressman could play a role in him losing his job as the head of the House. All right, nice to see some sunshine there. Thank you, Mike. And folks across Delmarva are gearing up ahead of the expected winter storm. We caught up with a few people in Salisbury who are making their preparations before Monday. We may not see more snow today. Cold temperatures will keep the roads frozen. WBOC's Lauren Miller joins us live and all bundled up in Milford this morning. Lauren, it looks like neighborhood roads might not be as clear as the main roads out there. The organization says caregivers can also write down what happens before a sundowning event so those triggers can be avoided. I did. I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying I'm mad at it. I'm glad I didn't have to pull out the big coat and the gloves because it's, I mean, we were talking, I think last week you said what, 12 degrees at one point?
You wanted it at 21, it was 12.
Yeah.
Now you got 64 on.
Yeah, so you know what, Mike, thank you. Thank
like
you
a
for
squirrel
working
in
your
traffic
magic.
with these weather. All right, that's like a squirrel in traffic.
So as you say, just keep our eyes to the sky and an umbrella nearby, just in case.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's almost like I do this every weekend with you.
We kind of do.